Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm doing a Zombie World deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because this is a super cool, fun deck that basically you can throw just about any zombie you want into the core of this deck, and it will work because the archetype is not by name, it's by type, which is a really cool aspect to decks like this where you can just kind of throw whatever zombie cards you want into this deck and make it work. So if you have a favorite zombie card that I don't play, you can probably fit it in here, which is pretty cool. So, without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell next so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out that Patreon down in the description below because we have some awesome rewards for you guys, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting a signed card sent in the mail, or even getting a requested deck profile every single month that you're a patron, along with test hands every single month that you're a patron as well, for the same deck that you request. So, without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing two copies of Doom King Ballardrot. So Doom King Ballardrot is a really interesting card that if you have a field spell in your field spell zone, that you can special summon this card from your graveyard, which is really cool during the standby phase. It kind of reminds me of Fire King High Avatar Garunix a little bit because it special summons itself every standby phase, but this doesn't board wipe the field, it gives you negates, which is really good. Every time a zombie monster's effect is activated on the field, it has the ability that you can activate either the effect to negate an effect or banish one monster from the field or the graveyard. You can activate both of those effects during the same turn, just not at the same time. It has to be like your opponent activates one effect, and then your opponent activates a second effect, which is pretty good, but it also has the ability that if Zombie World's on the field and your opponent activates effect, everything's a zombie, so all of their monster effects count for his ability, which is really cool. We then play two copies of Necro World Banshee. Necro World Banshee has the ability that you can banish her from your field or your graveyard to immediately activate a copy of Zombie World from your deck, which is really good to be able to do, to be able to search your Zombie World very quickly out of the deck. We play two copies of Glow Up Bloom. Glow Up Bloom is really neat in the deck too. It's kind of a gimmicky card, and I will say, hashtag Glow Up Bloom needs some eye drops because look at them, look at that Bloodshot. Like that card needs some eye drops, my guys. So what this card does is if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard to add a level 5 or higher zombie monster from your deck to your hand, and if Zombie World's on the field, then you can immediately special summon the monster instead, which can get you Ballardrot first turn, which can get you a negate on board, which is really good. We then play three copies of Shiranui Solitaire. Shiranui Solitaire has the ability that you contribute it to special summon a tuner from your deck that's a zombie, which is always going to be your copies of Unizombie that you're going to summon off of this card. What Unizombie does is it lets you send a zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard to increase a monster on your side of the field's level by 1, or send a zombie monster from your hand to the graveyard to increase a zombie on your side of the field's level by 1 as well, which is really good. You can activate both those effects per turn, but basically Unizombie is played in every zombie deck in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's a really good card. I mean, it's overall probably the best zombie card ever released besides Ballardrot, Glow Up Bloom, and maybe Solitaire or Mizuki. Like, the whole deck is really good, but Unizombie is probably one of the best ones. We then play two copies of Mizuki. Speaking of Mizuki, you banish from your graveyard, and then you can special summon a zombie from your graveyard, which is really good to be able to just instantly get out a zombie. It's essentially Monster Reborn, which is really good. One copy of Gozuki. Gozuki has the ability that during your main phase, you can send a zombie monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish one zombie monster from your graveyard to special summon a zombie from your hand, which is a really good effect to be able to instantly get a zombie from the deck to the graveyard, kind of like a Unizombie. I mean, go figure. They work in the graveyard. Who would have thought? But it also has the ability of the special summoning a zombie from your hand, which is a really good effect with Doom King to get Doom King onto your side of the field if it does just happen to be in your hand. We play two copies of Jacobolin. Jacobolin is a really good effect because you can discard a zombie monster to special summon this card from your hand, and during your opponent's main phase, you can target a zombie monster in either player's graveyard and then banish this card until the next end phase and special summon that monster to your side of the field, but banish it when it leaves the field, which is really good to kind of recruit zombie monsters to your side of the field. We play a single copy of Fraulein, Vampire Fraulein. Vampire Fraulein is kind of a really awesome tech card in here because you can special summon it to your side of the field if a monster declares an attack. And then she also has the ability that you can pay life points in increments of 100 if a zombie monster you control battles. and up to 3,000, and then make your opponent, and then you lose life points for that amount. So for instance, if I have Frolin on my side of the field, and I have a Blue Eyes White Dragon that's attacking into her into defense position, I can pay 1,000 life points to increase her attack and defense by 1,000 to make it stalemate with the Blue Eyes so she doesn't get destroyed, which is a really, really cool aspect of the deck that if you have Frolin on your side of the field, your opponent's basically not going to be able to attack you. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's really good in here. You can change this out if you want to for Effect Veilers, Forbidden Droplets. You can change it out for copies of any hand trap that you particularly need. Forbidden Chalice if you feel like you're going up against your topic. Zexal a lot. It just depends on what you need. I like the Ash Blossom so I can stop my opponent from searching, but that's just me. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a really good card in the deck because, go figure, you're getting called by the grave. It's calling collect, too, so don't answer the phone. What this card does is you're going to basically banish a speller. You're going to basically banish a hand trap that your opponent's going to activate, which is really, really helpful to be able to stop your opponent's hand traps, to make it so you can still search and special summon from the deck. If your opponent's going to Ash Blossom you or Effect Veiler you or whatever they're going to do, this card really helps out. We play a single copy of Monster Reborn because this is the 3rd copy of Monster Reborn we play in the deck because of Mizuki's. We play a single copy of Foolish Burial, which is the 6th copy of Foolish Burial I think we play, because we have the 3 Unizombies, 1 Gozuki, and this, so that's 5. So we play 5 Foolish Burials in the deck, essentially. 1 copy of Dragon's Mirror because you can summon Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon out of the deck for this card, which is really cool. You just banish 2 zombies and then special summon it from your extra deck, which is super helpful to be able to get it on your side of the field. The only thing that you have to watch out with this card is with Rivalry of Warlords, this card becomes dead. We play 2 copies of Book of Life. Book of Life is super cool because it's basically like 2 more copies of Monster Reborn, so it goes to 5 Monster Reborns in the deck. You banish a monster from your opponent's graveyard and then target a zombie monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So you instantly get a zombie monster from your side of the field, which is super nice. We play 3 copies of our Zombie World, which is a really amazing card. It makes every card on the field and every card in the graveyard that is a monster become a zombie, which is really, really cool. I like that ability. And also this card was really good during the Monarch format, which I know is a little bit of a random fact, but it was really good during the Monarch format because neither player can special or contribute summon monsters except for zombies, which, ironically enough, they only play 1 zombie in the deck. So it would just shut their entire deck down. So this is a really good side deck option as well. If you're going up against a deck that is tribute summoning a lot, you can just use this and then make it so they can't tribute summon. So, cool fact. We then play 3 copies of Super Polymerization. Super Polymerization is really good in the deck because if you have Zombie World on your side of the field, then you can Super Poly your opponent's cards away to go into your copy of Dragon Necro Nether Soul. Or you can use this card to go into Starving Venom, which is also a really, really, really good option to go into in the deck. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're playing 2 different traps in the deck, and that is 3 copies of Rivalry of Warlords, and 2 copies of Shiranui Swallow Slash. Swallow Slash is essentially Icarus attack that you contribute a zombie to target 2 cards on the field and destroy them. And then you can also banish a Shiranui monster from your deck, which is kind of nice to be able to banish a Shiranui. And then Rivalry of Warlords, each player can only control 1 type of monster, and you send all the other monsters they control to the graveyard. So since we play everything just about as zombies, except for the cards in the extra deck, we can just lock down to basically using the main deck, along with a couple of monsters in the extra deck that we play, like Shogun Saiga, Red Eye Zombie Dragon, our copy of, I think those are the only 2, and Vampire Sucker, which sometimes you need the suck, so you play that. But what this card does is basically makes it so your opponent can't summon. Because if they're not playing a mirror match, then the monster that they have on their side of the field becomes zombies while you have Zombie World on the field, and then you flip Rivalry and it locks them into whatever they already have on the field, because they can only control 1 type of monster. The monsters in their hand are different types, but the monsters on the field are not. So basically, the really cool thing is this essentially says, hey, you can only have zombies on your side of the field. That's it. Everything becomes zombies, which is really, really good. I like that combo. It's kind of like a soft lock to lock your opponent into having to play zombies. If they're not playing zombies, they can't play, essentially. So, That's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're playing a single copy of Red Eyes Zombie Necro Dragon. This card's really good because it gains 100 attack and defense for each zombie monster on the field in either player's graveyard. And when zombie rolls on the field, as we just went over, it makes everything in the graveyard and everything on the field zombies. So if your opponent has like 10 zombies in the grave, this goes up to 3,400. Plus itself, accounting itself, it goes up right up to 35 just because of that. I mean, it can go up really, really, really big fast. I mean, this card is insanely good. And when it destroys a monster, or when a zombie monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon a zombie monster from either player's graveyard, which is also really good to immediately get you a zombie on your side of the field, which can help you OTK your opponent. This card is just asking to OTK your opponent. We play a single copy of Void Ogre Dragon. Void Ogre Dragon can stop your opponent from activating spells and traps. This card's really good to summon on your side of the field to be able to negate spells and traps as long as you don't have a card in your hand. One copy of Beals. Beals is really good because it can't be destroyed by battle or by card effect, and when you take battle damage from an attack involving this card or from an opponent's card effect, then this card gains attack equal to the damage you took, which is really good. We play one copy of Shiranui Shogun Saiga. Shogun Saiga is pretty good because it's a zombie synchro monster. That's the big reason you play this card. Cyframe Lord Omega is really good too because it's a zombie deck. Cyframe Lord Omega goes on literally every zombie deck. Borreload Savage Dragon is good because it can give you additional negates, and it's pretty easy to synchro in this deck, so you play the Borreload Savage. One copy of Starving Venom. Starving Venom's extremely easy to go into this deck because you have Super Polymerization and Verte Anaconda in the extra deck, so this card's always live. Dragon Necker Nether Soul is probably the MVP of the entire deck because this card's good with Super Poly, Dragon's Mirror, just about anything. This card, when it attacks, it copies the monster's level and attack and defense and summons a token to your side of the field. They don't get destroyed. Their monster doesn't get destroyed, but then you can just kamikaze your monster into theirs, the token into theirs, or you can keep the token and attack with another monster and get rid of their monster and then use the token to attack your opponent. Like, this card's a token generator, and it's really weird how it generates tokens. I absolutely love this card, and it's really, really neat. We play a single copy of number 60 because number 60 boosts the attack of a monster by double it by just detaching 2 materials, but you skip your next battle phase, so it can help you OTK your opponent. Access Code Talker to get a lot of pops on your side of the field. Now, you don't have to play this card if you want to go more budget. You do not have to play this card. It does not cripple the deck if you don't play it. I mean, you're playing as zombies. They probably are already crippled up, but hey, whatever. Rigor Mortis is a thing. But what this card does is when you basically get to pop cards equal to the attributes that you have in your extra deck that are in the graveyard. So if I have, for instance, if I have Dark, Fire, and Earth, I can banish these from the graveyard and then pop cards on my opponent's side of the field, which is pretty good. It also has the ability where you can make it a speed spell 4, where it's really good they can't react to it. But you don't have to play this. You can actually take it out and play Borreload, which is a good option for the deck, which is totally understandable if you can't afford Access Code Talker. I think it's like a $70 card right now. So if you don't want to play Access Code Talker, play Borreload. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn just helps us spin stuff. Nightmare Phoenix helps us pop spells and traps. And then Nightmare Cerberus helps us pop monsters. I played this package because of the Access Code Talker. I still would play these two, but if you want to do something really cheeky that's budget, drop the copy of Cerberus, put Update Jammer, and then put Borreload, and you're totally fine. Then you get a Borreload that can take 2 monsters during each turn. That's pretty funny. We then play Vampire Sucker because, again, sometimes you need the suck. And what this card does is it lets you target a zombie monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to their side of the field, and then you get to draw a card every time a zombie monster is special summon from either graveyard, which is really good. Also, if you're going to tribute summon, then you can tribute summon your opponent's monster, use it if you're going to summon a zombie, which is kind of cool. And then we play a single copy of Verte Anaconda. Anaconda, you pay 2k, you activate Super Poly from deck. Why wouldn't you play this in this deck? It's free Super Poly for 2k life points. So it's not really free, but hey, it's always active. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a really fun deck to play around with. It's really insanely good to play around with. It's an I would consider this probably anti-meta, but it's really fun, and I highly recommend that if you guys don't have at least a core of the Zombie World deck, you should probably pick it up, because it's a really splashable engine. I probably have the Doom King Baller Drop Zombie World package. I think I have it in like probably 7 different of my decks on my channel, and it's really good. It's a deck that you can pick up, keep it as a core, keep it as an engine, and throw it in another different kind of zombie deck like Shiranui's or Mayakashi's or anything that you particularly need, or make a pure version like this. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of our notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.